ओम 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 सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परम ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ओम सच्चिदानंदरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रय विनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नुमः। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्च अर्थेष्वभिघ्नस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं। समस्त देवताभ्यो ऋषिभ्यो मुनिभ्यो गुरुभ्यो नमः। श्रीमद्भागवत महापुराण आचार्येभ्यो नमः। परब्रह्मणे महाविष्णवे ब्रह्मणे सनकादिमुनिभ्यो नारदाय वेदव्यासाय शुकब्रह्मर्षे सूतमहामुनये नमः। अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। ओम श्रीकृष्ण परब्रह्मणे नमः। श्रीमद्भागवत महापुराणम् एकादश स्कन्धः मुक्तिर्हित्वान्यथा रूपं स्वरूपेण व्यवस्थितिः। अथ विंशोऽध्यायः। श्रीभगवानुवाच श्लोक 17 onwards। नृदेहमाद्यं सुलभं सुदुर्लभं प्लवं सुकल्पं गुरुकर्णधारं मयानुकूलेन नभस्वतीरितं पुमान् भवाब्धिं न तरेत् स आत्मः। यदारम्भेषु निर्विण्णः विरक्तः संयतेन्द्रियः अभ्यासेनात्मनो योगी धारयेत् अचलं मनः। धार्यमाणं मनोयर्हि भ्राम्यद् आशु अनवस्थितम् अतन्द्रितोऽनुरोधेन मार्गेणात्मवशं नयेत्। मनोगतिं न विसृजेत जितप्राणो जितेन्द्रियः सत्त्वसम्पन्नया बुद्ध्या मन आत्मवशं नयेत्। एष वै परमो योगः मनसः सङ्ग्रहः स्मृतः हृदयज्ञत्वमन्विच्छन् दम्यस्येवार्वतो मुहुः। साङ्ख्येन सर्वभावानां प्रतिलोमानुलोमतः भवाप्ययावनुध्यायेतु मनो यावत् प्रसीदति। निर्विण्णस्य विरक्तस्य पुरुषस्योक्तवेदिनः मनस्त्यजति दौरात्म्यं चिन्तितस्यानुचिन्तया। यमादिभिर्योगपथैः आन्वीक्षिक्या च विद्यया ममार्चोपासनाभिर्वा नान्यैर्योग्यं स्मरेन्मनः। यदि कुर्यात् प्रमादेन योगी कर्म विगर्हितं योगेनैव दहेदंहः नान्यत् तत्र कदाचन। स्वे स्वेधिकारे या निष्ठा सगुणः परिकीर्तितः कर्मणां जात्यशुद्धानाम् अनेन नियमः कृतः। गुणदोषविधानेन सङ्गानां त्याजनेच्छया जातश्रद्धो मत्कथासो निर्विण्णः सर्वकर्मसु वेददुःखात्मकान् कामान् परित्यागेऽप्यनेश्वरः। ततो भजेत मां प्रेतः श्रद्धाळुर्दृढनिश्चयः जुषमाणश्च तान् कामान् दुःखोदर्कांश्च गर्हयन्। प्रोक्तेन भक्तियोगेन भजतो मास कृन्मुनेः कामा हृदय्या नश्यन्ति सर्वे मयि हृदि स्थिते भिद्यते हृदयग्रन्थिः छिद्यन्ते सर्वसंशयाः क्षीयन्ते चास्य कर्माणि मयि दृष्टेऽखिलात्मनः तस्मात् मद्भक्तियुक्तस्य योगिनो वै मदात्मनः न ज्ञानं न च वैराग्यं प्रायः श्रेयो भवेदिह यत्कर्मभिर्यत्तपसा ज्ञानवैराग्यतश्च यतो योगेन दानधर्मेण श्रियोभिरितरैरपि सर्वं मद्भक्तियोगेन मद्भक्तो लभतेऽञ्जसा स्वर्गापवर्गं मद्धाम कथञ्चित् यदि वाञ्छति न किञ्चित् साधवो धीरा भक्ता ह्येकान्तिनो मम वाञ्छन्त्यपि मया दत्तं कैवल्यम् अपुनर्भवं नैरपेक्ष्यं परं प्राहुः निःश्रेयसमनल्पकं तस्मात् निराशिषो भक्तिः निरपेक्षस्य मे भवेत् न मय्येकान्तभक्तानां गुणदोषोद्भवा गुणाः साधूनां समचित्तानां बुद्धेः परमुपेयुषाम् एवमेतान्मयादिष्टान् अनुतिष्ठन्ति मे पथः क्षेमं विन्दन्ति मत्स्थानं यद्ब्रह्म परमं विदुः इति श्रीमद्भागवते महापुराणे पारमहंस्यां संहितायाम् एकादशस्कन्धे विंशोऽध्यायः। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ॐ श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम श्रीभागवत शरणं मम श्रीसद्गुरु शरणं मम श्रीसूत शरणं मम श्रीशुकदेव शरणं मम श्रीव्यास शरणं मम श्रीनारद शरणं मम श्रीकुमार शरणं मम श्रीब्रह्मा शरणं मम श्रीविष्णु शरणं मम श्रीपरब्रह्म शरणं मम श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम शरणं मम शरणं मम। श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव। ॐ मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपा तमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं स्वर्गे सत्ये च कैलासे वैकुण्ठे नास्त्ययं रसः अतः पिबन्तु सद्भाग्याः मामुञ्चदगर्हिचिद। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ श्रीकृष्ण परब्रह्मणे नमः। श्रीमद्भागवत महापुराणमेकादश स्कन्ध मुक्तिर्हित्वा अन्यथा रूपं स्वरूपेण व्यवस्थितिः अथ विंशोऽध्यायः। श्री भगवानुवाच। Saluting to the entire Bhagavata Parampara, to our Lord, our own Guru Parampara and Gurudev. Welcome you all wonderful sadhakas of this great, grand, glorious Shastra, the Purana, Srimad Bhagavata Maha Purana. Any study of Shastras, Satsanga, we listen in the Satsanga spoken by our Gurus and Acharyas, that Shastra Jnanam gives these few things. First, it may prove what we believe today is as wrong. That we have to accept and change our opinions. Sometimes the satsanga gives us whatever the knowledge we have, little depth of that already having knowledge. Sometimes it spreads it. It widens the purview of the knowledge we have already got. Sometimes it gives us the practical tips of practicing that knowledge. In some of the cases, newer and higher and deeper and greater informations, knowledges are given regarding goals, regarding the possibilities. So them also have to receive. In this way, when some new knowledge comes, receiving it wholeheartedly. When the deeper knowledge comes, receiving wholeheartedly. When the practical tips are given, following them. When already existing knowledge, but it is narrow, but it is when it is expanded, receiving it that way. And if something in our life which we follow is wrong, only detrimental, and when the Shastra Guru Satsang say that this is not the case, ability to drop. When these five things we do, we will be really evolving in our life. That's the purpose of all this study. If all this listening is done, but when informations of these types come and we are not changing ourselves, molding ourselves, then we are not making use of this opportunity. The best way in which the Lord Guru want to bless us through this Shastra, we are not encashing it. Then that person will never evolve only. So that's how in this Bhagavad Purana and any of the Shastra in general we see. Here in 20th chapter, Bhagavan gave us all the three yogas and he said it is only in the human life that we through bhakti and jnana can get the mukti, not even in Swargadi Devaloka, Narakadi Loka or any of the other bodies. So thus we are human being, we have realized it. Now use it only for the purpose. And how to mold ourselves to go in that marga, Bhagavan himself has so beautiful in these five shlokas explained to us. Taking the example of that bird, how wonderful is it? Krutanidam vanaspatim. Then alampadaha kshemam yati. If the bird also knows its kshema and leaves the need, the main point is what? It with so much fondness made that nest. So too we have with lot of punya got this deha adi. But not to get lampatatva with this deha and deha giving all worldly bhoga. Deha means deha indriya manobuddhi. But as it flies to a safe zone, for us as a human being, the safest zone is the Adhyatmika Marga of Bhakti and Jnana supported by Karma and Yoga. Karma Yoga and Yoga. So, and to conclude it, Bhagavan has so beautifully summarized. In that, you can see Bhagavan's kindness, compassion, arati, his order to us, guidance to us, blessings to us, expectation from us. All those we can see. That mantra number 20, so not 2017. Nrudeham adyam sulabham sudurlabham plavam sukalpam guru karna dharam maya anukulena navasvata iritam Puman bhavabdhim nataret saha atmaha. So instead of doing atmahatya, we have to do the atma uddharana till we reach to atma anubhava. And the things that are helping us in this regard are maya anukulena nabhasvata. In human life only, Bhagavan's anukulyata is more for us because among all his own creation, Bhagavan loves the human beings more. Therefore, as we said day before yesterday, even if we are not astika, even when we are nastika, Bhagavan is so anukula towards us as a human that still he takes care of us. And if one starts becoming astika and believes in Lord and whatever he wants that gets from the Lord only, much more Lord is happy. More than that, Lord is happy when one tries to seek the Lord through the surrender bhakti, through the meditational experience. So, and in the beginning, to test us, Lord may give some tests, some difficulties. If we are understanding them as the prasada given by the Lord, the test given by the Lord, the training given by the Lord, or the Lord is trying to make us more confident, etc., more strong, then as we proceed ahead, he will be there at the left side, right side, aage, piche, in all directions. Bhagavan is there to protect, we can see. That is the meaning of Maya Anukulena. Tomorrow we see in the Telugu class how the last prayer in that Namaka Prashna the disciple does to the Lord or the Bhakta. Dasha prachir, dasha dakshina, dasha pratichir, dashodhichir, dashordhvastebhyo, nayam dishmo yeshtitam vojam bhedadami, triambakam yajamahe. Before that, he says from all directions, O Lord, east, west, north, south, northeast, northwest, southeast, southwest, up, below, from all directions, you with all your Rudrarupa please protect me, push me towards my ultimate goal. Here also, Bhagavan's words, let us take them very literally. True they are. That Maya Anukulena Nabhasvata Iritam. The winds of Bhagavan's grace is always on us who are following Dharma, who are following Adhyatmic Sadhana of Bhakti Jnana, thereby trying to fulfill the human life. And in this human life, another benefit is what? Guru Karna Dharam. Bhagavan, as he gave us food, etc., much before we are born here, so to Bhagavan, much before we become sadhaka, he himself is appearing as the Guru Tattva or Guru. So many Mahatmas Gurus are there. Karna Dhara. See, you can imagine whenever you go to such type of rivers and all, where these boatmen take the people across. They are there from 30 years, 40 years, and in their boat till that time, lakhs and lakhs must have crossed or gone other shores and enjoyed. In the same way, Guru Tattva, Paramatma himself is Guru Tattva when it is a question of knowledge. That Guru Tattva through so many Gurus, and each of the Guru is so paka in rowing the boat of our human life across the ocean of samsara. So, Bhagavan is the wind, Guru is the one who rides this boat. Boat is human life. This is what all I said it is Adyam, Sulabham, Sudurlabham, Sukalpam, Labham. It's the most best of all, very difficult to get, and it has got Sukalpam, so many of amenities, facilities in that. The vivek of the buddhi, the emotion of the prana, mana, and so much of prana shakti, indriya shakti, and a huge ayurdhayam lifespan of around 80 years. In that 2020 we निकाल super surukanik bisa, baat ka 10, the 50 years we have. In that 50 also for maintaining the house grahastha ashrama, even if you remove 10, 15, still we have 25 years wherein much more than enough if I deeply utilize it, that we can through bhakti jnana reach Bhagavan. That's how we have to feel. So one side Bhagavan is glorifying human life, second side he is saying that if it is not rightly utilized for highest purpose, it is Atmahatya. And the purpose is only to know the truth. Take the help of Guru, the Karnadhara, and Anukula Namaswan Bhagavan. And Anukulata of Bhagavan is what? He asking him only to bless us to grow spiritually. Don't ask us, ask him, though he can give those things, when we receive them, we go away from him or the marga. That much maturity should be there in us. Pakka. Even if so many vasanas, desires are there in us, yet the final prayer must be, O Lord, may I rise above beyond all these vasanas, all the, what do you say, the moha vyamohas, and all these panchakoshas as well as the avidya jnanam, and may I experience the absolute truth. That truth is very vague, unknown when we are not started to listen to it in the Upanishads. But as we listen, it becomes more obvious and conspicuous that there is something truth beyond the seen world of names and forms, and that is the reality. All these are superimposed on him in the non-apprehension of him. परमात्मा को नहीं जानने के कारण उनके ऊपर आरोपित ही विश्व है. So let me remove all these impositions, adhyasas. Let me experience Bhagavan. That's what experience Tattva. That's what we have to keep on asking the Lord. Lord will be more happy to bless us with that wisdom than any other thing. Now be attentive. Don't ask question. In this huge creation, the size of the creation is unimaginable. You have to accept it. The variety of created are unimaginable. You have to accept it. And in this, so many margas are there. The marga for Rasarga, marga for Naraka, marga for Pashupakshiyoni, marga to come back to human, marga to go to Uttamalokas of Yakshakindra Kimpurusha. Even there is a marga to know the truth and realize. All are there. You have to see them. And no question to be asked. That is how the Vishwa is made. Among them, the best and ultimate is to know the truth. And to this also, very few jivas get exposed to this truth, to this information. Among them, few only show more interest. Like in our house or in any shopping place when we go, there's so many valuable things that are there which would be very useful for us. But somehow we don't even get to know that they are there. We don't even go there. We don't even inquire also. Just like so many Shastras are there, entire life is spent not even touching them. So many Mahatmas, Gurus, great people are there, entire life is spent is not going to them. So many temples, pilgrim places are there, whole life is spent without being aware of that. That's how there's a problem. That we have to sort out. Very few are the lucky ones to get exposed about this, and you and I are in that category. No looking back. For us, proceed, move ahead only. This conviction should be there. And Guru Karanadharam is a very important thing. Never go away from the Guru Maharaj. First, only the bestest gift you can give is not to have a good friends or lot of money or this and all. They're all secondary. But having found the Guru and surrendering to the Guru is the best gift you can give to yourself. In that also, Guru who is in the Deha, you can contact, talk to him, discuss with him. That joy you will not have. जब Guru मर गया तो now when Gurudev is, I can't contact him now. Though I have devotion, I invoke him, but the joy of seeing Guru in flesh and blood and basking in his grace, kindness, compassion, love, and direct guidance and answering to our questions is never ever is comparable to when you don't see the Guru. Although at highest level, you have to feel the Guru in your own Atma, in your own Hridaya, in your own Antakara, or the final high. But before reaching to that stages, is it not? That's how we protect. Anyway, now after that, Bhagavan now is prescribing to us in each of the shloka beautiful adhyatmika sadhana to be done. Every shloka so wonderful. This is the essence of entire Vedanta Shastra adhyatmika sadhana. So first one is what? Yadarambheshu nirvinnah viraktah samyatendriyah abhyasenatmano yogi dharayedachalam manah. Now, as we explained yesterday with the help of Mandukya Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita, everywhere, the sadhana in the Adhyatma is Manaha Achalam Dharayeto. Never forget this one. The mind to be brought into standstill stage consciously is called as the highest achievement in spirituality. The mind which is absolutely standstill, not gone into the laya like nidra, not in the disturbed mode of creating the perceiver and perceived duality like in waking and dream. Such mind which is absolutely achala. That achala mana is Paramatma only. Nischala tatve atmanubhavam atmanubhave jivan mukti. धारयेद अचलम मन. ठीक है. In that also, with willpower, with japa adi sadhana, temporarily bringing the mind into our control and quietness is initial stage. After that, that mind is employed in study of Shastra, little contemplation, to be very clearly convinced about the absolute self to be realized for liberation. After having done that, keeping that as the goal, knowing that self alone is there, there is nothing called other than it. Everything else is projection of the chitta. Chitta itself is unreal. With understanding these knowledges from the Upanishads and all, make the chitta absolutely nischala. Nischala chitta is no more chitta. It is chitta. It is the self. Nischala chitta is not chitta in the laya. Okay, it's not nidra wala chitta. But that chitta which has totally freed from all vasanas to push it into jagra swapna avastha, nor after the tiredness which goes into laya avastha like nidra. ऐसा नहीं रहने वाला चित्त. How do you achieve that? That is what is the subject in this entire remaining shlokas, which started with the first line of this very mantra number 18, where he said, Arambheshu nirvinnaha, then viraktaha. We said, Arambheshu nirvinnaha, no new sankalpa. संकल्प का आरंभ नहीं करना about anything other than Parama Atma. Second is Viraktaha. Virakta is a wide expanded word in which earlier पाप पुण्य का फल रूप में सो जो भी दुख सुख आता है विरक्त for both of them. The rakti attachment for the sukha is in two forms. One is indulging and enjoying it and wanting it to be repeated. And then virakti with the dukkha or rakti with the dukkha is what? Getting identified even with that dukkha and suffering and expecting it not to come. In expecting the sukha to come, in expecting dukkha not to come. In both cases, the sukha dukkha being the lakshana of the mana's chanchalata we are promoting. Therefore, a virakta person neither celebrates or any of the sukha nor he is worried about any of the dukkha which are brought because of our earlier papa or punya or papa. This is the meaning of virakta. Arambheshu nirvinnaha, then virakta. You imagine, even pictorially also you can put in your mind when new arambhas are not at all done and whatever the sukha dukkha are coming up, one is not at all involved with them. How to do that, Swami asked? We tell it is a Sakshi Bhava. It doesn't come overnight. Some of 5, 6, 8, 10 years when we, along with the Arambhesha Nirveda, when we try to do the effort practice of Virakta Bhavana, Sakshi Bhava, then you will catch it. And that should be the Sthai Rupa. I'm always a witness. Things are happening in my own presence. At that time, the Virakti is really experienced. So yadarambeshu nirbinnaha viraktaha. Then what helps both of them is samyata indriyaha. The three are complementary to each other. When we are not having nirveda to arambha, then indriyas have to become active to do whatever we have desired. So too the indriyas become too much active when we are not virakta. So too, when the Indriya Nigra is done, it helps to the Virakti as well as Arambesha Nirveda. These three we have to achieve. Then Abhyasena. And these three in तीनों का अभ्यास करते हुए योगी अचलम मनः धारयेतु. In the abhyasa, the japa abhyasa, the upasana abhyasa, Bhagavad Rupa Dhyana abhyasa, Bhagavan Nama Smarana abhyasa. These are all what these abhyasas of all these are things to which the mind should be kept for holding. Even though the mind is trained to hold on to these and become stabilized, because of the so many other reasons, mind keeps on getting wandering, disturbed. वहां से मन को इधर लाना. Ultimately, Dharayed Achalam Manaha, you can write a big slogan and put somewhere. This is what is to be achieved in Adhyatmic Sadhana with regard to our Mana. Dharayed Achalam Manaha. So, every of the Mana ka Achala Dharana बहुत important hai. How to do also Bhagavan explained. Now he says, Dharyamanam mano yarhi brahmyadashu anavasthitam atandrito nurodhena margena tvavasannayeda. Now, when Bhagavan said we try, when we try, it won't happen immediately. There will be so much of difficulties and troubles. Bhagavan starts answering them, anticipating, because this is how for every sadhaka it happens. Like a one who trained many batches of students wherever they are. When the new batch comes, he very clearly knows to any of the student what can be the questions, problems that can arise. He is fully prepared with them, and the moment problem he immediately answers. कहीं भी training है कहीं भी. So many jivas in their path from samsara entered into moksha marga. They went through the practices en route. They went through all difficulties. For each of the difficulty or problem, these were the solutions. So they are ready reckoner for the Lord. So Bhagavan is anticipating and is answering. What is the anticipation? Dharyamanam manaha. So when you are trying to make your mind achala, chanchala raita, nischala, achanchala, yarhi means whenever. Brahmyatu ashu anavastitam. When the mind goes into brahmanam and never tries to or never allows you to control it to be avasthita in one place. That's how the nature of the mind. Mind is more volatile than the water. That you see so many little of the any of perception of sense enough for the mind to get disturbed like the water. Little wind of any sort, disturbance of any sort is enough for the water to appear as waves. In the same way, here also, anavasthitam brahmyatu. That's what Krishna ko Bhagavan Krishna say, Arjun कहते चंचलम मन कृष्ण प्रमाति बलवत दृढ़म तस्याहम निग्रह मन्ये वायुरिव सुदुष्करम. So whenever I am trying to bring the mind to the achanchala nischala sthiti, mind will not listen. It by its nature brahmyat. What is a brahmanam? Going from one person to other, one place to other, one object to other, one experience to the other of the past or anything. It happens and thus anavasthitam. टिका रहता नहीं है वो मन एक जगह. Now what is that ek jaga? It can be Guru Charana, it is Bhagavan's Mukharavinda, it is on your Hridaya Kamala, it can be any नाम of the Bhagavan. किसी एक को आप सपोर्ट बनाओ जिसके ऊपर मन केंद्रीकृत करने का प्रयत्न करना. At the time of effort only, when it is anavasthitam and brahmyat, what to do? This is a very practical thing. No more practical, beautiful tips greater than what Bhagavan says in this chapter. So, to in Gita, in every chapter, we see Gita is absolutely practical tips only at every moment. Here, Bhagavan gives the solution. What is it? Atandritaha. Atandrita means don't go into tandra of laziness or lethargy or exhaustion or tiredness or frustration or sleepiness or saying that I'm trying but the mind is not coming to halt or control. So it's a waste and impossible practice. Let me not do it. करके उठकर मात भागना. Around 60 to 70% of people give it up and run away because they can't face their own mind, they cannot quieten their own mind. We are all in that category. And some of the people, they struggle to bring the mind to focus. It doesn't happen in the tiredness, exhaustion. They sleep or they get frustrated or they get flown along with the mind's brahmana wherever the mind goes. And they start enjoying it also. So first of all, atandrita means without tiredness or exhaustion feeling. Opposite of Tandra is with inspiration, with the commitment that this is the nature of everyone's mind in the initial stages. Come what may, whatever the sacrifices to be done, efforts have to be done, I will definitely achieve the stability of the mind. With this type of inner inspiration, confidence, what is there? What comes is the Atandra. We have to create it. First, wo karo, atandritaha. Second practical tip is anurodhena margena atmavasham nayet. Bring it to your own vasha. That means wherever you want to focus it exclusively, try to bringing it to there is called as atmavasham. Atmavasher vide atma prasadam adgachati. Atmaneva vasham nayet. In Gita, everywhere it comes. Atmavasher means what? One atmavasha is you want to do japa only on the japa mantra, the mind is fully focused and engaged in. And the ultimate atmavasha is taking the mind into the inquiry of the self and dissolving the mind in the experience of the self. This is Adhyatmic Vedantic Atmavashanam, and this is Atmavasha at the level of Bhagavan's Upasana or whatever. Both ways. Right now, it is not in our control. Anything you want to think, it won't stay stable. Like you can't see one program of TV stably. One after the channel you go on browsing and you will just forward it, backward it. That thing which we do outside is sign that mind is so much avasha in us. Second sadhana is anurodhena margena. This is what is the main point in this shloka. Anurodhena margena means what? First of all, don't fight with your own mind. Don't feel it as enemy. But till today, because we have not made friend with and molded it properly, some places might have created trouble to us. But the thing is what? That is the only thing which we are given, and this mind, if properly trained, is the best instrument even to know the Lord, truth. Manasaivedam aptavyam nehananasti kinchana and all those mantras. Therefore, what to do? Don't fight with mind, don't hate mind. Then what? Talk to your own mind. Explain to your own mind that, oh mana, when you go in this way, see where do you land in. Instead of that, when you follow this intellect's injunction of focusing on whatever the goal taken up, these are the beautiful things you get it. In this way, There's nobody. I am there. My mind is there. I am trying to control my mind or quieten it up. It is going into different brahmanas, anavastita. And I have to address my mind. अनुरोधेना मीन्स समझा बुझाकर, प्यार करके, उनको दिखाते हुए कि ओ मना, इफ यू गो इन दैट डायरेक्शन वेयर डू यू फॉल इन, एंड अलॉन्ग विथ यू आई ऑल्सो, बट इन दिस पाथ इफ यू गो हाउ ब्यूटिफुल इट इज. So by telling the mind about the mahatmya of whatever the work you have chosen, let us say japa or focus on meditation, bring the mind from that brahmanam as well as that anavastha. Being in anavastha and brahmana, please remember, is nature of mind. That's so from many many lives it is there. And easily वो सुनेगा नहीं, बट लड़ना भी नहीं उससे. ये ऐसा शैतान है मन. When you fight with it, silently it goes on going through all that, and it goes on gathering its own strength. One day it will burst like volcano and it will destroy us only. Our own mana. Very powerful Maya it is. Therefore, what Bhagavan said is Anurodhena Margena. Anurodhana Marga. Like when you have to bring your children to what you want to do, but them to do, to make them do, how the Anurodhanam you do. Anurodhena Margena. In the beautiful way of explanation to your own mana, you bring it. And it is practical and it is possible and doable. If you do it, you will see how it works. Wonderful it is. What is our problem with our children for us? If we give full freedom to them or we fight with them and beat them. Both are wrong. Give little freedom. Same time, don't fight with them. Do the anurodhanam. Learn that art of pleasing the mind. Don't please the mind by fulfilling its demands. Please the mind in different ways of explanation so that it comes to this. Like my mind it is Rajoguna at this moment. I am understanding. Yet because of Rajoguna, it is entering to Kama, Krodha, Adi. Tell to that mind, whole mind from so many lives, indulging in that only, what it brought except living only at the animalistic level. See here, the Guru says, the Shastra says, when all these are dropped, one can really reach to a beautiful state of experience. Okay, let us try. Let us try. Mind will say, no, 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 I want Kamana, Krodha. No, it appears to you like that. Let us wait and see. Today you be just without any Kama, Krodha and see what harm will happen to you. 1 week, let us try and see. When you give these Anurodhana examples or training to mind, slowly it comes to our control. So first is Atandritaha, second is Anurodhena Margena. Note down these points. Atandra is not giving up, not become frustrated, not feeling tired or lazy. On the other hand, I can do and I must do with that inspiration, full of energy and dynamism while doing this toughest task of controlling the mind. Second is Anurodhena Margena. Anurodha Marga is our own Anunayan to the mind. Then Niruddha Marga is also will come. Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. That also will be told as one of the sadhana after few shlokas. उसको अभी भी पढ़ सकते हैं. Along with Vritti Nirodha Marga of Yavanivad sadhanas and Anurodhana Marga of Samjava Bhujava to the Mana, we can slowly pull it back to the goal where we have chosen from the Brahmanam or Achanchalata, wherever it is going. So what is said about this in Bhagavad Gita is yato yato nishcharati manaschanchalamasstiram tatastato niyamyaitad atmani eva vasham nayat. Atma vasham nayat is a word common Bhagavan used in Gita and here also. How to do that also? Shanaihi shanaihi paramet. Slow and slowly you have to pull the mind. How? Buddhya dhriti gruhitaya. The only hold by which the mind can be held back or pulled back is the conviction of the buddhi about the higher goal. That will be same thing explained here also. So in this shloka, two things are said. If at all, if the mind is running into the Brahmanam and becoming Anjanchala, when you are trying to put it onto the Nischala Sthiti, then Atandritaha, then Anurodhena Margena, Vasham Nayetu. Keep on doing, it will happen. Now the second shloka. Now when we study each of these shloka, salient points we have to write down, and all the points of all shlokas put together is complete sadhana. And every of these aspects we have to understand, and which is to be done what time, and which sadhana or understanding helps at what time of problem, we have to be very clear and apply it. Like driving a car or any two-wheeler. Now, how many things you have to know there? Every one of them, and you must know what to apply at what time. You have to know clutch, you have to know the accelerator, you have to know the brake, you have to know all the other things, whatever are there, indicators and horn. सब अगर टू व्हीलर है तो you must know where to put the gear and all that. Every time you need not put the gear. Once you are on highway, gear number 3, it goes on moving. You are more focused on accelerator and little clutch. When it is a heavy road of so much of traffic, your attention more is on brake and clutch and all, so that you have to see the turnings, people going well. You have to. So, sub, in the same way, all these are the sadhanas put together is sadhana. So first thing is mana is achanchala, sorry, it is mana is brahmyatu anamastitam. When you are trying to bring into dharana or concentration at one place. So atandra as well as anurodha, marga, these are the things in this shloka. Next shloka, manogatim na visrujeto jita prano jitendriya sattva sampannaya buddhya mana atmavasham nayet. In this, again, four more points are added to what is said to the 2 points which are said earlier. Each of them we have to add. सब याद रखना है हमको, सब तैयार. With all this information available ready नहीं, when we sit for bringing the mind to the concentration and achanchalata or nishalata, we will be able to do it. So in this mantra, first one is what? Manogatim na visrujetu. Means what? Don't give up the direction and speed in which mind is going. Don't give up your attention about it. What happens here? We just go with the mind, forgetting our sadhana. So mano gatim na visrujet means what? Don't let loose the mind to go and you go with it. Mat karna aisa. Manogatim na visrujet. It's like when you drive the vehicle. You cannot leave the gati of the vehicle in which direction it is going. We have to be always alert of its movement, every moment, and we must also control it to go in the direction which we want to take it. In the initial days of first 2 to 3 days, आप और कहीं जाना चाहते हो, vehicle और कहीं जाती है. Not the vehicle as a prana, a life that it goes along fighting with us, but that's how the heaviness of the vehicle pulls that side. But you have to know manogatim when you play the kites. When you do that kite flying and all, you cannot give up that the gati of the kite in your hand, the thread it is there. Then only you can control. नए नए लोगों को दे दो, 1 सेकंड में वो लोग कहीं पेड़ पे या कोई बिजली के तार पे वो लटका देते हैं. Flying the kite, when the kite is also little unruly and with so much of wind around, it's a बहुत मजेदार खेल. So being aware in which channels the mind is going is a very important thing. Then from there you can bring back the mind by showing to it the shortcomings of that direction. First point clear? Manogatim na visrujet. Don't give up your attention on the direction in which the mind is going. Alert रहना, absolutely aware. That is that mind going into the people, is going to the objects, going to the expectations, going to the experiences, going into its own wool gathering, its own sankalpa. Is it going into cash or cash? Cash means money enjoyment. Cash means cash aisa hota acha, cash aisa hota acha. Those fantasies that are there in the mind. जा रहा है उसके ऊपर नजर रखना. Little you are unaware, it goes such a far off distance. By the time you become aware of it, that day's meditation time is over. Like that, every day mind will cheat us. That's how people say, मैं ध्यान के लिए बैठ रहा हूँ पिछले 10 साल से कुछ नहीं हुआ। क्यों? ध्यान के में बैठ रहे हैं, लेकिन ये सब नहीं पता उनको। तो बैठना उठना हो रहा है, इसके अलावा और कुछ नहीं हो रहा। That is why getting proper guidance from the Shastra, Bhagavad Gita, Upanishad, etc., from the qualified Guru, with that preparation, sitting for dhyana. First is explained, Manogatim, na visrujet. Second is Jita Pranaha. Always remember, mind and prana are so interconnected. If the mind is disturbed, the prana shakti is disturbed. If the mind is quiet, his prana is quietened. Mind is more subtler than the prana. However, by controlling prana, mind can be controlled. That is why the influence of pranayama, those people who do regular pranayama under the guidance of experts, their minds are much more in control than those who don't do pranayama but still pursue Vedanta and all. You and I are an example for us. प्राणायाम में प्राण के ऊपर केंद्रीकृत करते हैं, प्राण के ऊपर ध्यान करना लक्ष्य नहीं है, दैट इज ओके, क्योंकि प्राण इज जड़. Our goal is not Jada, but Chaitanya Paramatma goal. Yet, at the initial stages, whatever the sadhanas help us, sacred they are all, we have to respect them. One of them is prana. So what he says is Jita Prana. Jita Prana means the one who has got the pranayama ke dwara prana kumbhaka puraka rechaka, let him in control. With the help of that also, the running of the mind can be controlled. Focus on prana in going in and going out. Immediately the mind comes to the concentration. The pranayama by Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi's language is like the flying bird caught in a snare or net. Jala pakshivat roda sadhanam. It is the bird which can be caught in a snare and controlled. In the same way, the mana, running mana is controlled by pranayama. Right now you can see. Even the Sahaja Pranayama you focus, you can see the mind becomes quiet and controlled. Focus on prana, inhale and exhale. Wherever the mind is going, in whatever the emotions it is there, of passions, greeds, or desires, or angers, उन सब से ये प्राणायाम निवारण करता है. That's why Bhagavan gave that facility and that guidance. First one is Manogatim na visrujet. Second is Jita Prana. Third is very, very interesting. Very interesting, very, very interesting. Nahi? Important. Jitendriyaha. Some of the things in spirituality are very clear. If the Indriyas are not in control, mind cannot be in control. They are complementary to each other in destroying us also and in helping us also if we can use it that way. Why? Because if I don't have Indriya Jaya, then Indriyas are uncontrolled, and what makes Indriyas do their work is mind only. So mind goes with them, उसके साथ दोस्त बनकर जाता है. So both pranayama, Indriya Jaya, and then these are very essential to control little subtler instrument than them called as mana. And all of them can be achieved by us only when we keep the ultimate goal as Paramatma and know that that Paramatma is achieved only when each of these are crossed. If that goal is not very convincing, then that we will not have that inner desire as well as power as well as effort to control them. जरूरत नहीं लगेगा. The one who wants to reach the highest peak only can afford to go through all the toughnesses, difficulties, en route and give them up or transcend them. लक्ष्य ही नहीं है वो, तो फिर वो उस तरफ जाएगा ही नहीं. परमात्मा जिसको लक्ष्य नहीं है ना, वो कभी भी ये मन नियंत्रण, इंद्रिय नियंत्रण, प्राण नियंत्रण वो करेगा नहीं लगातार. कुछ समय करके फिर छोड़ देगा, और करेगा भी विथ ऑल कॉन्फिडेंस, बट the result of all that will be for him in terms of some success of this world or the other world or any of the siddhis, which again are temporary in bondage. he will never be fit getting the final result of moksha, because that he has not aimed at all. इसलिए याद रखना, परमात्मा प्राप्ति ही आत्यंतिक अंतिम लक्ष्य है, उसमें श्रेयस है, उसको पाने के लिए ही हम बता रहे हैं। और उसको पाने की इच्छा नहीं है तो ये सब बता के बेकार है। That's the problem everywhere. When we don't educate the children about why they have to study each of the subject thoroughly, you cannot create the interest in them. ये तो जबरदस्ती होता है बस। You're forcing them, and they are also academically or what do you say, mechanically, as a formality, they study and they appear for exam and they drop everything. पहले वो समझाना पड़ता है क्यों ये सब पढ़ा रहे हो आप. That was our Indian system of education, which is destroyed and replaced by this stupid system of Macaulay system, जिसमें कोई purpose ही नहीं, लक्ष्य नहीं. See today's one they add MA literature and MA something else, वो लोग चाय बेच रहे. But they are earning lakhs and crores, and what they are saying is our time was wasted in that education. In somebody's t-shirt, I was born intelligent, education has spoiled me, ruined me. These are true things. है ना, मीन्स थोड़ा थोड़ा हो रहा है, बट देन यू हैव टू वेरी thoroughly study about how to educate the human race, youngsters, children. उनका वृत्ति क्या है, कैसे सिखाना है, प्रवृत्ति क्या सिखाना है, अल्टीमेट गोल कैसे सिखाना है, उसमें धर्म का, देशभक्ति का क्या ऐड करना है, ऑल पुट टुगेदर इज एजुकेशन. Anyway, this all topic came why people don't succeed in meditation, because they don't know where they are aiming at, the ultimate goal. So 5 चीजें हो गए अब तक. फर्स्ट वन इज अतंद्रितः, सेकंड इज अनुरोधेन, थर्ड वन इज मनोगतिम न विसृजेत, फोर्थ जित प्राणः, पांचवा जितेंद्रिय. इंद्रिय जय तो पाना ही पड़ेगा. विदाउट दैट यू कांट. देयर आर ऑल चोर, ये सब एक दूसरे के चोर है. एक को मौका दे, बाकी को भी निकाल के ले जाएगा हमारे कंट्रोल से. जितेंद्रिय इज फिफ्थ. सिक्स्थ वन is the most important. Sattva sampannaya buddhiya. These are 3 meanings. One is sattva is sattva guna. Second, sattva is through sattva guna you have spent some time in understanding and knowing Paramatma as the goal. With these two things, the buddhi should be sattva, means strong. With this strong buddhi, which is sattvic, which has got the Paramatma as the conviction, it will be able to control the rajasic mana, which is running in all directions. Of course, taking the help of Indriya Jaya as well as the Pranayama. Sattva Sampannaya Buddhya. No, again in each of them lot of sacrifices, lot of the efforts are there. आप जब बुद्धि को पूरे राजसिक तामसिक चीजों में लेते जाओ तो उसको उसी में मजा आएगा, वही कन्विंस होगा. फिर वो कन्विक्शन, बुद्धि इज कन्विक्शन. When you take into the worldly bhoga again and again, buddhi gets convinced that this is what the life like. That's what happening. So much everyone's buddhi is colored by the virus of conviction regarding the bhoga of the world, that it is becoming so difficult to remove that and put in their life, in the intellect, बेटा ये तुम्हारा लक्ष्य नहीं हो सकता एज ए ह्यूमन, लक्ष्य कैन बी ओनली परमात्मा. ये बता ही नहीं पा रहे कि कोई भी, कितने सारे गुरु लोग भी मिलकर, क्योंकि बुद्धि इज टोटली मिसगाइडेड. Is it not? Entire education system, which is talking about Paramatma Lakshya, batao. Which parents and who teach the children that beta tumhara Lakshya Bhagavan hai? By mistake, even if a child goes into that path because of earlier samskara, घबराते पेरेंट्स. स्वामी जी मेरे बच्चे को क्या, फिर स्वामी के पास जाते हैं, क्या होगा बेटा हमारे बच्चे को, आजकल वो भगवान का नाम ले रहा है. Means in today's definition, if the child watches TV, uses a cell phone, moves with friends, enjoys, talks all nonsense, he is normal. If he by mistake inquires about the truth of the world, reality of the world and all, something gadbad hai, इसलिए इसको ठीक करना है. That is called as buddhi is misguided. Now, another opposite of this positive example is what? If the Buddha is again and again exposed to all the Shastras, Itihasas, then it will be convinced about that is the goal. What we are doing for the last 2 years in our morning evening classes is this only, making our Buddhi Sattva Sampanna. One is Sattva Guna, second is the goal as Paramatma. These two are the ones which give Sattva, the energy. Sattva means Bala actually. Strength and energy to the intellect. That intellect can pull the mind from wherever it is running. Saying that that's not my goal, this is my goal. Hey Mana, that's not my goal, this is goal. Not this is the goal. This is how Buddhi with strength it has to pull. So Buddhi is conviction, control of Indriyas, control of the prana, and then being aware of where the mind is going, Atandra, as well as Anurodhena Margena. These are the 6 things by which the chanchalata of the mana can slowly be brought down. All that when you consciously do, पता नहीं कितने जन्मों के लिए. Remember, with all japa practice, puja practice we are all doing, still it is not even a beginning also, because we are doing all of them as a time pass, escapism only, because we have not aimed at all of them to control mind. क्योंकि control mind is sadhana और सिद्धि करके अभी समझ में नहीं आया हमको. Are we aware when we sit for japa that this japa I am doing to quieten the minds? When the mind is quietened, the self is realized. With this thought, are we sitting for japa puja every day? No. व्याधि नहीं रहता मेन लक्ष्य निरंतर याद होना एक्चुअली वो. Like when I am going this satsanga, I must be nirantara in the consciousness. I am doing this satsanga for my more stronger conviction about the truth explained in Bhagavata and sadhana explained, as well as spreading this knowledge to the deserving people. I must be aware of that. Then only my talk is very consciously, rightly expressed and becomes fruitful. Otherwise, ये पागल की तरह बोलते थोड़ी जाते हैं. कुछ भी आए मन में. Same way, every sadhana is true sadhana when we know for what you are doing. And every sadhana is done only for bringing the mana to Nischala Sthiti. So focus on that. Then measure also. Did it come to Nischalata? No, 20 years से कर रहा हूँ स्वामी फिर भी निश्चल नहीं हुआ. मतलब कर नहीं रहे हो 20, कर रहे हो ऐसा सोच रहे हो, बट मैं बैठ रहा हूँ, माला ले रहा हूँ, फिरा रहा हूँ. I am doing all that, but not with a conscious awareness every moment. And also you are not taking the help of Sattva Sampanna Buddhi and Pranayama as well as Indriya Jaya, Jitendriya. इन सब का आपने मदद नहीं लिया. Now you understand how much we have to go into the seclusion, aloneness, take pen and paper and keep on thinking about all these aspects, write them and become very clear about what exactly to be achieved, what exactly to be done. Without that struggle, to be clear, are all attempts for the sadhana are futile, fruitless. क्योंकि कहाँ जाना है नहीं पता, क्या कर रहे हो नहीं पता, कैसे करना नहीं पता, फिर क्या कर रहे हो नहीं पता. Every sadhaka will start like that only. But as he is becoming serious, sincere, the Lord from within or without gives the importance of knowing all these details. Is pakka now. It is regarding everything. कुछ भी खाते जाओ is a phenomena which every human being does. But this is wrong medically actually. It's Bhagavan's kripa that whatever you eat with little stomach aches etc. is removing. It is his kripa he made the body like that flexible. But otherwise, in our wisdom, even one mumfali going inside also, we must be aware of it. One fruit is going also, we must be aware about its quantity, its quality, and what time you are eating, what is useful for you, what is fit for you, what is giving energy, what is taking away the energy, what is creating any of the pains, any part of the body. So हमेशा कुछ ना कुछ दर्द पेन है का अर्थ क्या है कि you are eating some nonsense all the time. Otherwise, why should the body be abnormal or any pain should be anywhere? हमको इसका पता ही नहीं है. The thing which we eat like a coffee हो या ट्री हो, कोई टी हो या कोई भी ऐसे स्पाइसी चीजें हैं, ये हमारे सिस्टम को गड़बड़ कर रहे हैं, इसको होने नहीं देना करके कॉमन सेंस भी नहीं आया हमको अब तक. मरने का टाइम आ गया. बट दैट्स हाउ वी लिव फूलिशली. बोलने से थोड़ा बुरा लगता है. We are stupid fool even in eating food also. As I said the other day, if you remember, 15 days back, even drinking water also is an art. How many liters you need per day, that also which time, how much to take. That's being conscious of the body. That itself also is a great yoga. That no day of my life have any, कभी बोन में दर्द होता है, कोई मसल में भी होता है, कभी फैट इकट्ठा होता रहता है. अरे पागल है, ऐसा कैसे होने देते हो? बिकॉज वी आर सो वेग कि कुछ भी आए खा लेते. वी फोकस ओनली ऑन द टंग टेस्ट के लिए एंड कीप ऑन एडिंग एवरी नॉनसेंस. देन वी इमेजिन हाँ सब ठीक हो जाएगा. ऐसा नहीं होता. Everything which we eat has its own influence in the entire system. If you have to be healthy, you have to be aware of that. That's also highest yoga it is. और another thing है, नहीं खाओ तो भी फिर कमजोरी होती है. नहीं खाओ तो भी प्रॉब्लम है, ज्यादा खाओ तो भी प्रॉब्लम. इक्वल क्वांटिटी खाना है, करेक्ट टाइम पे खाना है, उम्र के हिसाब से खाना है, एबिलिटी टू डाइजेस्ट के हिसाब से, एंड वेदर को मन में रखकर, व्हाट डिसीज यू हैव उसको मन में रखकर. बट हु इज वरीड अबाउट ऑल दैट? Nobody is thinking. That's why डॉक्टर लोग है दवा देंगे करके, we do दबा के खाओ, दवा ले लो. Same thing happens for spiritual sadhana also. That spirituality is not vagueness. It is absolute clarity. Then only we will really proceed. We will really grow, not otherwise. So 6 things are told. Atandra, Anurodha, then becoming aware of the mind all the time, Jita Prana, Jitendriya, then Sattva Sampanaya Buddhya. Keep the buddhi always strong, always in the strong conviction of the truth as the goal. Let the strength of the buddhi's conviction make the mind pulled from wherever it is running. Mana buddhi, they are not different. There is one only antakarana, but it only divides functionally, and one part becomes liability, another part becomes asset. अल्टीमेटली सब वृत्तियां ही हैं, सब सूक्ष्म शरीर ही है, सब अंतःकरण ही है. अंतःकरण इज वन, फंक्शनली फोर. उसमें वेर यू गेट नॉलेज कॉल्ड एज बुद्धि, वेर यू हैव इमोशंस एंड डिस्टर्बेंस कॉल्ड मन. प्रैक्टिकली संकल्प विकल्प करने वाला मन है, सही निश्चय लेने वाला बुद्धि है. सो भगवान से सत्व संपन्नया बुद्धिया, मन आत्मवशम है. सत्व, आई गिव ऑल द 3 एग्जांपल्स. Buddhi, which has got all the sattva gunas, by exposing it to the sattvic atmosphere only. And buddhi has got conviction of Paramatma. And third is, such buddhi is very strong, made strong. Sattva sampanna. Such person who is sampanna in sattva guna buddhi never compromises with values, never gets carried away by his mind's temptations or emotions in his behavior outside as well as on the seat of meditation. And all of us run away where the mind इंद्रिया से, पहली बात दिमाग है ही नहीं है, तो भी उसका गुलाम है वो मन इंद्रियों का, उसको अपने खुद का ठिकाना नहीं. And when I say this, we should feel inside us. Like when I'm talking to, I'm becoming aware of it. What's the position of the intellect in me? वो तो कोमा में है. Kuma mein, because it's never functional. It is never thinking what is right, what is wrong. Where is it doing? Nitya Nitya Viveka, Satya Satya Viveka, Atma Anatma Viveka, Jada Chetana Viveka. उसको भूल जाओ. पाप पुण्य विवेक ही नहीं कर रहा है वो, धर्माधर्म विवेक ही नहीं कर रहा है. श्रेयस प्रेयस क्या है, विवेक इट इज नॉट डूइंग. द बुद्धि, इसका मतलब यह है कि कोमा में हो, बेहोश है वो. थोड़ा होश में है, लेकिन उसको इतना दम नहीं है. है माना इंद्रिया, हाउ डेयर यू वांट टू स्लीप, हाउ डेयर यू वांट टू गो फॉर द ऑब्जेक्ट्स, जस्ट शट अप, डू दिस, दैट्स इट. आई हैव टेकन दिस बुक टू स्टडी टुडे, इट टेक्स 8 आवर्स. हिलूंगा नहीं, बैठकर पढ़ूंगा 8 घंटे, तुम लोग चुप. दैट्स कॉल्ड एज सत्व संपन्न बुद्धि कंट्रोलिंग द मन. दैट्स द सत्व संपन्नता ऑफ द बुद्धि. व्हेन आई एम टेलिंग यू, आई एम फीलिंग इट, यू आल्सो फील. पहली बात, हमको बुद्धि के नामक एक चीज है यही नहीं पता, और उसको सात्विक बल देना है यही नहीं पता. Sattvic bala to buddhi comes only through the exposure to the sattvic fields, whether they are people, whether they are activities, whether they are thoughts, whether the study of books, education, or topics that are discussed together or individually thought. Yes, sir. Now, mind you, in spite of our 5, 6 classes done, still, how many vasanas we have of the past that still the buddhi is in rajasic, tamasic fields only. Our plannings and execution through senses and mind of the buddhi for the worldliness are more than spirituality. Are we fully all the time aware with the buddhi about what stage of spiritual evolution I am now? What is the next step to be done? कहाँ हो रहा है विचार? Then what is the buddhi doing? Whatever man is asking, how to achieve that, buddhi is applying the knowledge. So buddhi man ka gulam ban gaya. It should be other way around. Buddhi should be sampanna with sattva shakti and it should guide the mind. Then only mind can be pulled. That's called in Gita as buddhya dhruti gruhitaya. That buddhi which has conviction of Paramatma has such a dhruti. That dhruti word used there is called sattva sampanna here. With that mind, with intellect which is convinced about its goal, pull the mind. Nahi to nahi hoga wo. That's why more important in spirituality is conviction. Strong Shraddha conviction. बस मुझे पाना ही है बस. And one thing I'm focusing every day and giving importance is knowing the truth is our goal. Our Shraddha conviction in that should keep on growing every day. एक बार वो हावी हो जाता है ना, बाकी सब अपने आप टिकाने में आ जाते हैं. If we become alone, that's the thought to become stronger. That I must know the truth, I must realize the truth, I must seek the and truth alone. इस बात पे आपको दृढ़ता आती है, बाकी साधना खुद ही हो जाते हैं, आराम से हो जाते हैं, आनंद में होते हैं, मस्ती में हो जाते हैं. Like the child has goal of play, then गिरेगा, लुढ़केगा, चोट लगती है, खून आता है, फिर भी he doesn't care because he is inspired by that goal of enjoying sport. So too, when we are inspired by the goal of knowing truth, all these things will fall in right place. नहीं है तो compromises, excuses, है ना? Like I have taken up, किसी की वजह शास्त्र पढ़ना है. Therefore, doing with all difficulties, obstacles. Sometimes it is painful to me also कि to study so many texts and explain. But conviction है तो कर रहे हैं. और आप में जो उनको conviction है, they are not leaving even one class. Regularly they are coming. And those who are not coming, the reason is obvious. Why should I tell? It is understood. Clear? Sattva Sampanaya Buddha is explained. Now, this next sloka is 21 is summarizing. He says, Esha vai paramaha yogaha manasaha sangraha smrutaha. See, this is called as Parama Yoga. So you know Karma Yoga, you know Bhakti Yoga, you know Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga. इन सब योगों का उत्तम उद्देश्य क्या है? उत्कृष्ट योग. This is a Parama Yoga. What is that? Manasaha Sangraha Smrutaha. Manasaha Samyak Grahanam. Fully controlling the mana and quietening it is the highest end Parama Yoga. Bhagavan Krishna is very clearly saying it. You do कर्म योगा, भक्ति योगा, ज्ञान योगा, अष्टांग योगा, इन सब का असर चित्तवृत्ति निरोध के द्वारा भी और by understanding the futility of the worldly life etc. किसी भी कारण से मन should be absolutely निश्चल. The निश्चलता of the mana or control of the mana is like our own car or scooter. Is your car and scooter when you put it in the garage अपने आप आवाज करके या स्टार्ट होके चला जाता है क्या? No. It is 1 day, 2 day, 1 month, 2 month, इवन कोरोना काल में तो 6 महीने 8 महीने वहीं पड़ा है वो. और जब आपको जहाँ जाना है बैठकर स्टार्ट किया तो स्टार्ट हुआ, मोड़ उसका स्टीयरिंग घुमाया तो उस तरफ गया, फिर आपने एक्सीलेटर दबाया तो स्पीड गया. दैट्स व्हाट इज योर गाड़ी. माइंड शुड बी लाइक दैट. In fact, the great yogis of the highest order, they are always in conscious self. Whenever any vyavahara has to be done to them, for them, दे ब्रिंग द माइंड लाइक ए सर्वेंट, उससे वो काम करके फिर माइंड को डिसॉल्व करके देयर इन द आत्मानुभूति. It's only a mere instrument which is used when it is required by calling it. Else it is dissolved, dismantled. They remain only in the conscious Atmanubhuti. That should be our goal. Before that, the mind has to be fully brought under our own control. This is called Parama Yoga. Eshavai Parama Yoga. Manaha Sangraha Smrutaha. भगवान कृष्ण के मुख से हम सुन रहे हैं. He told Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana. Now he says Parama Yoga. All those three yogas are to achieve this. Never forget it. पूरा दुनिया मन में ही है, बंधन मन में ही है, और मोक्ष भी मन में ही है. इन द क्वाइटनिंग ऑफ दिस माइंड कॉन्शियसली. डिस्टर्ब्ड कॉन्शियसनेस इज माइंड, क्वाइटेंड माइंड इज परमात्मा और द आत्मा. When you are conscious and conscious of the mind's absolute nischalata, there is no mind. In the mind only, our vrittis only, ahamidam vrittis are there. All that goes away, then you know you are consciousness. This is meditation. An example is given. Hrudayajnatvam anvichan damyasyeva arvataha mahumo. Arvataha means the horse. Damyasya, that you want to control. And what is the control of the horse you want to achieve for? Hrudayajnatvam anvichan. You are desirous that the horse should know what you want it to do. The horse should know what you want to do with it. Not only it should know, that it should be under your control exactly. And what do you do for that? Lot of techniques, all those people practice. Ultimately, you make the horse know what you want it to. Therefore, without you, whatever the things you tell, it does. Like in some army, police, military, में होते हैं. They give training to the horses. They do variety of jumpings and all that. And secondly, when they are boarding the horse, mounted the horse, then the leftness, the rightness, the speed of the horse, the jumping, some of these plays they play, they play polo also on the horses. They do the jumping also around the barriers, whatever there. ये सब क्या हुआ उससे पहले? How much he has trained the horse. What is the training of horse? Hrudayajnatvam anvichan damyasyaiva arvataha. Arvata means horse. Damyasya means that which is said to be controlled, which is expected to be controlled. Why you want to control the horse? Hrudayajnatvam anu icchan means let that know what is there in my heart. So that what? I can use it and it should be useful to me. Is it not? That's why in those days before we discovered all these vehicles and all, horses were the mode of transport, and every rider of the horse is so much familiar with his own horse, and horse knows the Yajaman. Until now also, ये जो राणा प्रताप का जो इसका नाम चेतक इज द नेम ऑफ हिज हॉर्स ना, किसी का नाम प्रताप, राणा प्रताप जी का ही है, शिवाजी का ही है, शिवाजी का शायद, जिनका भी हो याद नहीं मुझे. That horse so much knows what its master wants. That's why in big yuddhas like in Valmiki Ramayana we are seeing, to defeat the Shatru, first the Sarathi and Ghodon ko maarte hain. Because the Ghode so much are in tune to the master that they are taking him and protecting him. पहले उसको मार देते हैं. Then he becomes helpless, then he is attacked. Example of the horse to this. Hrudayajnatvam anu icchan means let my horse know what I want it to do for me. Damyasya, for that it should be controlled. Arvata is horse. Munehe, muhu means एक दिन से होता है क्या हो? And in how many ways you have to understand the horse, train the horse, make the horse understand what you want. And in that also again training, बार बार. चाहे वो घोड़े की एग्जाम्पल याद दिया, कहीं हाथी का होता है, कोई शेर है उसका होता है, कहीं डॉग्स को ट्रेन करते हैं, बंदर को ट्रेन करते हैं. So what is the Parama Yoga? Eshavai Parama Yoga, Manaha Saha Sangraha Smrutaha. Now each of the shloka has some points All of them we have to know, and with this information, when we sit, our dhyanam is really done. Whether achieved or not, वो slowly hoga, but you are doing exactly what is to be done. Now, further is also Sankhena Sarvamanam Pratloman Lomata Bhavapya Anudhyayat Manoyat Prasiddhiti. So, some of the more additional things about the knowledge of Shastra, about the Paramatma, and sadhana of Yamadi, then Nirvinna Virakta, ये सब चीज़ों की भी क्या जरूरत है वो भी ऐड करते हुए बताएंगे. So that's how Bhagavan took a responsibility of thoroughly explaining the goal of knowing the truth by dissolving the mind, by bringing it to quietness through various sadhanas. I have to tell them, इस तरह से भगवान ने बताया. Now question is totally different. The question he asked was what? हाँ, द विदुर जी का प्रश्न क्या था कि आप तो गुणदोषवाद जो कहा शास्त्र में, आप कहते हो गुणदोष को चिंता मत करो. He will answer it in the last but one or but two shlokas. न मयि एकांत भक्तानां गुणदोषोद्भवा गुणाः साधूनां सचित्तानां उद्य परोपेक्षितम्. In pure Paramatma's pursuit, nothing is guna or dosha. At the lower level, to go towards him, dosha are these, guna are these, therefore do them, leave them. It is said. It is not the goal. Like all these satsangas are weird. It's not the goal. It can never be the goal. But through them, we are convinced about the Paramatma as a goal and how to achieve him, that is understood. उसके बाद इसकी जरूरत नहीं है. Each of us have to sit in our own gufa and go into our own dhyana and discover. इसी तरह से गुणदोष दृष्टि लक्ष्य नहीं है, वो फाइनल बताएंगे. बट बिफोर दैट भगवान इज एक्सप्लेनिंग टू अस एंड इन दिस कर्म योगा भक्ति योग ज्ञानों का रोल क्या है, इज गोइंग टू ऐड नाउ. ही इज टेलिंग द थीसिस नाउ. This is how the control of mind is done on Sita meditation. Moho is the word which you have not explained much. Tomorrow we'll explain a little more. But the meaning of that is again and again, again and again, till it is achieved. How long you spend your time to control the horse till it comes into your control. That's it. So to how long the mind is to be trained with all these things till it is made totally quieted, which is your goal. बट वन थिंग, जैसे हम शुरू में कहते थे कि विद द माइंड नाउ filled with so many desire vasanas, realities given to the world, importance given to the things and beings, and becoming slaves to our own emotions, अरे बाबा ये सब इतनी गंदगी कचरा है. When you want to make a house, when you buy a plot, if it is uncared for some time, it is so much of dirt and dust. पहले उन सब को निकाल के कुछ जमीन खोद के मिट्टी को फेंक के फिर अच्छा मिट्टी डालकर बैलेंस करके slowly then you start digging for pillars and rise it. Same way, to build the edifice of Atma Anubhuti in our own bosom or heart, first of all, we have to make our outer and inner lives freed from all this dirt and filth and dust. Otherwise, you can't enjoy that beauty of spirituality. So let us pray to God and Guru at this very moment. Let the heart be freed from all these raga, dvesha, kama, krodha, all khishpich of the world. Hey Bhagavan, make my man in this way prashant. After that also lot of struggle is there to quieten the mind because उसको मजा आता है इधर उधर घूमने में. Then we do real sadhana. Now today our mind, so much ego, so much of fighting with people, so much of issues, so much of arrogances, competitions, more than all this jealousy and reacting for small little thing also. Not having any love or patience or kindness or forgiveness or taking the worldly things lightly. ये कुछ है ही नहीं हमारे अंदर एक खूबियाँ. They're the basic ones. You have to remove the weeds. Then only you can put the seeds, saplings, then only it will grow. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Sri Guru Bhyo Namaha. कृष्ण चंद्र भगवान की जय, सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय. सो ये हुआ आज का. कल परसों में हम इस चैप्टर को फिनिश करेंगे. थैंक यू.